Welcome everybody. Welcome to another episode on my channel F1 Pit Pass. Today we're going to be discussing DJI Spark ownership. I've owned this Spark just under a month now. Put lots of time on it. Had lots of fun, and hopefully you've seen a few of my videos. The bridges around Teesside, the Angel of the North, the White Horse at Kilburn, to name a few. If you haven't seen them, please have a search, have a look and leave a comment. I really appreciate it. Okay, let's get right into DJI Spark ownership. As you may know, this drone is an entry-level DJI product. DJI have a range of drones, and this is a super small, lightweight, 300 grams, 10 to 12 minutes flight duration, high-res cameras, not quite 4K but everything but. Its GPS capability means it'll hover absolutely rock solid while you take those panoramas, zoom in on landmarks, which is my current love of at the moment, filming landmarks around the northeast of England. And this is what I found during my first early days of ownership. Top of the list, buy the controller. If you buy it as part of the Fly More combo when purchasing a DJI Spark, it comes with a controller and a few other things. This controller absolutely changes the game. Previously I'd flown it using a smartphone, which is good fun, but believe me, not having tactile feedback when flying it makes it a lot more challenging and a lot more limiting. So if, like me, you entered the drone world with a Spark and a suitable smartphone, then great, you will have fun, but find yourself a controller or buy it initially with the drone, link it when flying, and you'll have absolute fun. Familiarise yourself with the controls. It has 2 function buttons. Set those function buttons. I have one that flips the camera vertically down and then horizontal at the touch of a button. I find this is so handy when you want to do a quick video, look down at where you are from a height, flip to horizontal and continue filming. The other function button, I have it set to access the camera functions on the app. Maybe I should have said it's controlled by an app called DJI Go 4 app, downloadable from Android Play Store and Apple App Store. So the second function button, I have it set up so at the click of a button I can access my camera functions, and that's handy. I plan to get round to mastering manual functions on the camera rather than auto. The main reason being white balance and ISO setting. On auto, the ISO setting will alter considerably when you're facing towards the sun or away from the sun, or panning, any sort of panorama. You're going to get change, and that's where setting ISO levels you can really get that picture that you're trying to, rather than trying to correct it in post-processing. So that's a video for another day. I'm presently flying a lot in auto on the camera, but I do have this function button handy so that when I press it, go into camera settings on the app, I can alter to my heart's content. So that's familiarising yourself with the controls. Another major control you need to know: return to home. This function button will stop the drone in its path and return to the home point, which you would have set at takeoff, so that the app and the controller is locked on to the home point. And when you return to home, either because you've decided to or because something's gone wrong, low battery or loss of signal, then the drone would return to this home point and land. So setting it is absolutely paramount, and it should be part of your checklist before each and every takeoff. Returning to the video, needed to change the battery. Sorry about that. So that was the importance of return to home point. We covered briefly using a phone to control the Spark. We also covered briefly using a controller, but by far the biggest improvement, because as we all know, smartphones have a very limited battery life, and the last thing you want to do when flying your pride and joy drone is to lose display signal, because you won't know where you are, and you really are trusting that the return to home does everything it promises. So if we can't use a mobile phone, what's our alternative? Well, I've chose a tablet, the cheap Amazon Kindle Fire tablet can be set up to download and use the Android version of the Go 4 app. So coupling the Amazon Fire tablet with the controller enables us to have extended battery life, which means we're never going to have the same issues that we have relying on a smartphone. I've had smartphone batteries die with the cold partway through a flight, and it's quite a scary moment, especially with new ownership, to navigate back to where you are or rely on the return to home function because you've suddenly lost screen display. When you're relying on looking at something to see and control your drone, when you take that display away, it can be absolutely scary. So a tablet, in this case mounted on a tripod, but with a sun visor of my own design, and the controller fits below it, so I can view the screen and operate the controls and even leave go and do anything else I want at the same time. It all makes for a very, at present, suitable design. If you would like to see photos in detail of the tripod mount, then drop a note in the comments of this video and I'll sort out the links. So we've covered buying a controller, familiarising yourself with the controls, set the function buttons, set the return to home point, use a tablet for decent battery life. All of these will help you get the most out of your enjoyment when purchasing and flying a drone such as this. The drone comes initially with either 1 or 2 batteries. I've added a third on the thought process that maybe an extra battery would be useful for a day's filming. Up to now I've never needed the third battery, but it's nice to have it in reserve. So these batteries are what DJI classes intelligent batteries. They have a set of lights showing the status of the battery. They, being LiPo batteries, they are subject to you've got to take care with them when charging, storing and handling. But to date, touch wood, I've had no issues. They just clip onto the bottom of the drone, and a short press and a long press power up the drone. The 4 lights on the back show the state of battery charge, and the lights on the drone will go through a sequence to show you what state it's in and whether you've got a signal with the controller. But all that's quite technical, so this video is just an overview of Spark ownership. I'd like to finish off with 3 major points when flying the drone. Point 1. Avoid low clouds. The drone has downward sensors, cameras and sensors, and these are absolutely essential for monitoring where the ground is during flight. When I say low clouds mess up the downward sensors, what I mean is you may well damage your drone if you're flying in low clouds, because when you come to the point of landing, either using auto or flying it down and trying to palm land it, not having downward sensors will make everything far harder. If it were to try and land it on the ground, it would be a very hard landing, as opposed to a normal, smooth, slow, controlled landing that the downward sensors allow. I personally palm land it every time if possible. You press landing on the control app, it comes down, sees your hand, slows down and gently lowers, and then turns off the rotors. It's super when you get it right. There's no issue with you hurting yourself if you just take your time and rely on the downward sensors. Point number 2, practice these palm landings. They'll save damage to the gimbal through landing on uneven ground or tall grass. Your palm is far gentler on the gimbal and drone than any ground, so practice palm landings. As with lots of things in life, the more you practice, the better you'll get. When it becomes second nature and you can land on your palm, you can forget about that issue and just enjoy the rest of your day flying. And the third and final point, try a tripod. It may seem extreme to leave go of everything when you're flying, but try it. So, I'm going to wrap up the video at this point. It was always going to be a shortish one covering Spark ownership in the early days. Please leave comments in the section below and I'll answer everything I can. Thanks for watching.